Twitch with audio, and people can hear us. So I'm just talking to test the audio. And we'll see what happens when the stream catches up to me. We have audio. Excellent. All right, now we can start Dementia Radio. And recording in 3, 2, 1.
Recorded live on DementiaRadio.org, it's the Funny Music Podcast. Brought to you by TheFump.com, where you can download new free comedy songs twice a week. Now, here's your hosts, Devo Spice and the great Luke Ski.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Fumpcast. Luke Ski will be joining us momentarily, hopefully. He said he's going to be a few minutes late. In the meantime, welcome to episodes 571 of the Funny Music Podcast for May 27th, 2021. 2 ducks, a chicken, and a colander. I'll let you figure out which is which. Welcome to the show this week, Ethan Moyer. How you doing, Ethan?
Doing okay.
Excellent. We were supposed to have the Knuckleheads as well. Unfortunately, Grandmaster Jax is a little under the weather, so they will not be joining us. My guess is the kids are going back to school. They're getting sick because my kid is upstairs sick right now. It's not COVID. It's just usual kid sick stuff. So, fun stuff. So, we're going to start, since we're starting without Luke, I'm going to do the catch-up first. So, this.
Let's get caught up with what Devo and Luke have been up to since last week. Or else Devo, if Luke bailed and didn't show up.
Hey, what?
Oh, he's right.
Actually, Ethan, why don't you go first? What have you been up to?
I've actually been up to a little bit. I lost my train of thought. I have been still making videos. Just put up a new one today with a big 2 views so far.
Excellent. I've done that. And both of them are you, right?
One of them is me. I don't know what the other one is. I haven't gotten a comment or a like or anything yet, or any feedback whatsoever.
It's probably the YouTube bot who's checking it for a copyright strike, which you'll get.
No, they got the copyright clean before I even published it, as always.
That's right. I forgot they can do that now.
But it says I think it's the Brazilian rights company, the Brazilian RIAA.
Yeah, they're tough because they don't have a fair use law in Brazil, right. So they will not allow anything.
But okay, just don't play it in Brazil.
Yeah, that was my thing too. I'm like, if you don't want it in Brazil, fine. I don't care. I know we don't have any subscribers from Brazil. Maybe I don't know how many listeners we have.
And if I have any subscribers from Brazil, they speak English.
Right.
But no, I don't have. I'm pretty sure I don't have any Brazilian subscribers. Of the current 35 subscribers I have, none of them are from Brazil. It's a fairly safe bet.
Cool. Nice. So, in my little world, we had my son's birthday party last weekend, which was the first real birthday party we've had in a year and a half now, because of COVID, lockdown, and everything. But now everyone is all vaccinated. Even the 2 younger kids have gotten their first shots. So we felt it was safe to have the family over for a birthday party, which was nice. My mother came over. My father did not, because my father is dealing with his own non-COVID related illness. I've also started working on, for long backstory reasons, but I've decided to turn the closet under the stairs to the basement, which is over there, into a soundproof recording booth. So I'm going to finish the walls, put in soundproof insulation, put up all that, pointy, soundproofing stuff. And I'm going to get a better microphone to do some recording with. And that's going to be my new recording area. I'm still going to use this area for the musical part, but when it comes to doing vocals, I need a quiet room. So that's going to be the quiet room for me. So I've started working on that. It's going to be a slow process, but hopefully it won't take too long. I'm hoping to make a dent in it this weekend and get some insulation up in the walls and maybe hang some drywall. Which I'm not good at, but hey, it doesn't have to look good. It just has to be soundproof. The other thing I did is I shipped all the Fump CDs to Canada. And by all the Fump CDs, I mean a complete set, volumes 1 through 86, plus both Christmas albums, plus the Halloween album, plus the karaoke album, and even the 2 inside jokes of the Fumps albums. And I think that's all the compilations we've made. And because Needle Juice Records had a contest, and their winner got a complete set of Fump CDs. So I had to put together this entire big package, and I really appreciate getting 92 CDs out of my house from my stash over there. I really appreciate that, Jace, if you're listening. Thank you. You actually saved me almost half a row of CDs on my shelf over there. So give a quick guess how much it costs to ship 92 CDs to Canada.
$800.
Well, you got the 8 right. It was $86.41.
Oh, that's not bad.
International shipping has just gotten insane. It's actually, I guess that's not bad for 92 CDs, but shipping one CD to Canada costs $13.
Right.
It's like,
I was just like multiplying normal, sort of.
Yeah.
Like, very, very casual head math.
yeah. And the other thing is I've started running again. I've actually been getting up, and I'm starting the Couch to 5K program over from week 1. I've done the first 2 runs, and tomorrow morning I'll do week 1, day 3, and we'll see what happens. I got a massive migraine yesterday, and I'm hoping that wasn't related to the run and was just related to the storm that came through last night, but we won't know. I guess tomorrow I'll find out if after running again I get another migraine, but hopefully not.
I think running would not cause a migraine, generally.
It won't itself, but I'm a redhead, as you can see, and I'm very fair skinned, and I do dehydrate very quickly.
That too, like the sun over.
Yeah, so being out in the sun, but I do go out early in the morning. I'm usually out like 7 in the morning. I mean, that's not early for most people, but for me it's freaking early. So the sun isn't like burning bright yet at 7 in the morning. So it's not too bad, but still. We'll see what happens tomorrow.
Hold on a second. I have to let someone in.
Okay.
I'll be right back.
So while he goes to let someone in, I will just keep chatting. And you know what? I'm going to put my name up on the screen because I always forget to do this. Those of you watching on the video, we always forget to plug this, but we are live on Thursday nights on Twitch at twitch.tv/the_fump. You may be able to now see my background. There's actual light in this room. Over the past few months, the track lighting that I have up here, I have 8 lights on the track, and 7 of them have been out. So it's like, I don't know if you noticed, my background in the past few weeks has been like almost completely black, and I have these 2 lights here lighting my face, but the background was all dark. So last week I changed the lights, and you can actually see back here, except this half of the track lighting, only one of them still works. So there's something wrong with either the wiring or the track itself, so I will need to replace that. So, all right, so while we're waiting for Luke to join us, why don't you give us a quick intro to this song, and we'll give it a listen and talk to you about it.
Okay, this is Cartoon Skunk. I wrote it years ago. I think it was originally, I don't know, like 17 or earlier. Probably 2017.
Okay. Now I'm going to be showing the video. There's no difference between what's in the video and what's on the Fump, right? It's the same recording?
It's the same audio.
Okay, cool. All right, here is Cartoon Skunk by Ethan Moyer.
He thinks he's won the Pied Piper of love songs. Smooth words but got no grace. He's always one track mind thinking. Whining, dining, skipping all that straight to kissing. Got no hope and no clue, no pen. Of course you don't have no permission. Thinks he's suave, Le Pew, but he does things creepy stalkers do. When he farts, Le Pew, you will say you're black like Bartholomew. He's a nut, Le Pew, makes you say E then W in his butt, Le Pew. He's the bad sort of funk. No shame and zero honor, no shame and zero honor. No shame and zero honor. The cartoon skunk's always hitting on her. The cartoon skunk's always hitting on her. The cartoon skunk's always hitting on her. Run for your life if you see the skunk. Don't be near when he farts. Don't be near when he talks. Don't be near if you're smart. Don't be near him at all. Don't be near him at all. Don't be near him at all. Hey, 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 who? Cops, Whitewater, see if he's got restraining orders. Take his sprints, grab his tail. Why is he not in jail? Out in Paris, Avignon, and the whole French country. If he sees you, you should watch out, since this guy is just so skunky. Thinks he's suave, Pepe. He's as high class as Chick-fil-A when he farts, Pepe. Then your sinuses wanna run away. Thinks he's smart, Pepe. He does not have IntelliBrains. He tries hard, Pepe. Hard as how she'll be running. No shame and zero honor. No shame and zero honor. No shame and zero honor. The cartoon skunk's always hitting on her. The cartoon skunk's always hitting on her. The cartoon skunk's always hitting on her. Run for your life if you see the skunk. Don't be near when he farts. Don't be near when he talks. Don't be near if you're smart. Don't be near him at all. Don't be near him at all. Don't be near him at all. Hey, 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 who? You wanna sneeze? That won't help you much though. Upwind, skunk is yuck. Upwind, skunk is yuck. Also downwind, skunk is yuck. Skunk is always yuck. Upwind, skunk is yuck. Upwind, skunk is yuck. Also downwind, skunk is yuck. Skunk is always yuck. They call friends romantic, but what he does, well that's it. They're creepy, weird antics, more maddening than mass transit. There's no chance she'll like it, it's expected, she's frightened. Well now he's a skunk and she's a cat. That's not why this is wrong. All about it is wrong. It's completely just wrong. This is weird and just wrong. It is really so wrong. That's the point of this song. Hey, 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 who? Cartoon skunk is yuck. 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 Cartoon skunk is yuck.
Nice. I was hoping Luke would be on by now because he's a big cartoon fan and would probably like talk about this. But yeah, so what was the idea behind this song, or what inspired it?
I don't remember. I think it was just the idea that Pepe was kind of out of control all the time.
So you wanted to do a song about Pepe first? You didn't come up with the Uptown Funk parody first?
The thing about songs from years ago is I don't remember. I don't remember whether. I think it might have been a combination of the two. I did want to do an Uptown Funk parody.
Okay, that's fair.
And I also wanted to do one about him.
About Pepe?
Yeah. And then as this year came around, the whole controversy started up about you're going to cancel Pepe or not.
Yeah. Because they decided not to include him in the new
not to include him in Space Jam
movie. Yeah.
Which, according to some, is canceled.
Yes. And we see Luke now.
Yeah.
We see.
Hello,
Luke. We were just talking about the cartoon skunk.
Ah, yes.
We just finished the song. I figured you wanted to talk about it, being such a huge animation fan that you are.
Yes, because the last time Warner Brothers did a live action combined with animation type movie was the very excellent, very funny Looney Tunes Back in Action from, I think it was 2003. And Pepe Le Pew is in that. The story of that movie kind of, takes them all around the world for stuff. So they end up in Paris for a few moments in it. So Pepe Le Pew is in Paris, because he's French. And basically there's a thing where, I think it was, what's that guy's name? Like Goldberg, this wrestler dude, whatever, grabs the female lead and is carries her off, over his shoulder, and Brendan Fraser runs up to Pepe Le Pew, who's dressed as a policeman. It's like, officer, that man just, picked up a woman and ran off with her, and Pepe just goes like, "Oh yes, it is spring," love. He's some comment like that,
Yeah.
just, romance, thing. And then on the Looney Tunes show, the kind of sitcom, he was on there as like a wedding planner. So it's like, as time has gone on, I think they've, figured out how to do Pepe Le Pew without making it, problematic. But I guess that was just too much for for some people to handle. Hence, Pepe getting left out of Space Jam: A New Legacy, which I just felt was like, okay.
I thought it was odd that they left him out, not because I can understand maybe not using him as a main character, but I've seen still promo shots of the new movie, and there's like hundreds of characters in the background from
Yes.
other properties that they own. I'm like, just put him in the background as
And as somebody pointed out, is for those of you who don't know the premise of the film, it's that basically in this particular version of Space Jam, LeBron James and his son, instead of being sucked into the Looney Tune land that Michael Jordan went to, that's like apparently inside Earth. I don't know. This version is they're sucked inside the servers of Warner Brothers Entertainment. So, basically every Warner Brothers character and property that exists, is inside this digital, space, this cyberspace, if you will, for a cyberspace jam. So there's I watched somebody did like a breakdown of that first trailer that came out, and they were like trying to freeze it and show as many stuff, and it's like, I recognize a ton of super obscure Hanna-Barbera characters and this and that, but somebody else pointed out there's I think they're called the Droogs from Clockwork Orange. It's a literal gang of rapists at the sidelines, yeah, Space Jam. It's like, okay, so they're fine, but Pepe Le Pew, he's too problematic. It's just some consistency, please. It's like take out the rape gang, leave in the problematic skunk. I think.
I saw somebody else say that they could have used this as an opportunity to let Pepe grow as a character,
Exactly.
and have him do something and say, or I don't even remember how they phrased it, but they came up with a really good idea for how
Apologize.
and either apologize or do something chivalrous, to make up for it or something like that, or at least not be so, openly rapey. But it was, but I think they missed an opportunity here because they could have done something like that.
Because if you look
I
at
also think
sorry.
in the original Space Jam, he was in it. I don't think he really was Pepe. He was Pepe, but they didn't really have that aspect of his character. I remember.
I haven't seen it in so long. I don't remember.
Yeah,
I remember him playing basketball.
I think he was
That's
just a
about it.
very, very minor character. They had him recordable.
I mean, they did at least one joke where I think Michael Jordan's wearing a big, gas face mask, and he holds up Pepe to the Monstars, and all of the skunk,
Oh yeah,
bad this is coming off of him,
Yeah.
and they all it falls over, and then they show him go up and kiss the ball mwah, and it goes into the basket. He goes 2 points, and then
That's right.
so
I do
was
remember
kind
that.
of- yeah. So so I don't want to be I'm not a person who goes looking for spoilers, but having watched that one video, I learned what some of the plot is. So apparently some of the Looney Tunes, when, the action of the film, gets to the point where we have to get a team together to make a game. Some of the Looney Tunes characters are often other areas of the Warner's cyber universe. So they apparently, I guess, either storyboarded or scripted or whatever the scene that Pepe was going to, where they were going to go get Pepe. He was going to be in Casablanca. come on! I want to see that scene. It probably would have been, done in a way that would address the fact that, like, I am from a different time. I don't fit into this world. It's like, So yeah, but I am so hyped for this movie, and I much like Ethan. It's like it's just kind of like, really. Even in the Looney Tunes Back in Action, which I mentioned, there's a scene at the beginning where they're kind of panning through the commissary at Warner Brothers Studios, and they have Porky Pig sitting at a table with Speedy Gonzales, and Porky Pig, it goes like, first they say I'm not funny, and now they won't let me in because of my speech impediment. It's like this PC stuff really stinks, and then all that Speedy says is, "You're telling me," and then they like pan off of that. So it's they kind of at least had them in there to acknowledge, like, yes, these are characters, but yeah, they're not in this movie really.
Did they use Pepe Le Pew in any of that other Looney Tunes sitcom that they did a few years ago? Because I never saw any of that.
I'm pretty sure they used like so many characters. He wasn't one of the ones that would show up a lot, but I'm pretty sure he was the one that he'd be like just interstitial. They'd have him on whenever they had a need for him, whatever. Because like one of the neighbors in the little cul-de-sac is Witch Hazel, and her son is Gossamer. And Witch Hazel was voiced by Wanda Sykes.
Oh, nice!
But it wasn't like Wanda Sykes being like, I'm a witch person. It was just, I'm Wanda Sykes. This is my voice. I'm a witch now. It was just like so weird to hear like, and I love Wanda Sykes, but it's like she isn't even going to do a little bit of an affectation to make sense that she's anyway. But then Gossamer was supposed to be like 5 or 6 years old, so he's the same size, but when he talks, the voice of a 5 or 6 year old child, like literally.
Oh, that's weird. And for those of you who aren't cartoon nerds, Gossamer was that big hairy red thing with sneakers.
Yeah, who apparently has been given a significant spot on the basketball team in the new one.
Well, I can tell he's huge, so yeah. he's he'd be a good basketball player, I'm sure.
Yeah, but
he's got the sneakers for it.
And in the new Looney Tunes cartoons that came out in 2020 and continue to come out and continue to be excellent, I have yet to see Pepe show up in any of those. So
he's probably not going to.
Yeah, it's like I'm kind of assuming that's the situation. But then again, they also said for those cartoons, we're not going to have Yosemite Sam or Elmer Fudd use any, realistic like firearms in any of their stuff. They'll just use other wacky like TNT or over the top Acme type stuff when it comes to going after whoever their cartoon adversary is in that thing.
Did they ever really shoot anyone? Didn't they always miss all the time?
Well, it would be like, Daffy would be like, it's duck season, fire! And then a shotgun would be shot directly into Daffy's face.
And his bill would flip around to the back of his head.
Yeah, or something like that. But, so this trailer comes out, and one of the things you see in the trailer is Yosemite Sam with like 2 old style pistols, like blam, 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 shooting at the basketball. So it's like, oh, okay, cool. So they are bringing some of the old stuff back, but there's still kind of a weird trade off here. And I I don't want to give away what it is, but because I've been pondering. It's like, okay, Lola Bunny. It's like what are they going to do with Lola in this Space Jam sequel that might address the fact that she's such a I have to say one-dimensional character because in reality she's already a two-dimensional character. But it's
right.
like it's and when I found out like a little tidbit about Lola for the new Space Jam movie, I'm like, oh, cool, they're going to address it. Fine, awesome, it's going to be great. I can't wait to see what they do with this because it's going to be hilarious. So yeah. Plus, she's the only competent basketball player amongst them. So yeah.
So Luke, are you looking forward to this movie?
Super hyped about it. I've been kind of, because I haven't been paying attention to like all of the studios, like when things are coming out or whatever. I just put on my calendar that Space Jam's coming out, whatever it is, June 16th or something. And now I saw that Disney has the new Cruella movie.
Yeah.
And it's not that I think Cruella's going to be super great or that I'm going to be like, yay, this is the best. It's more like like, if things were normal, I would be seeing this movie. So if I want to see it, I have to either pay the $30 to get it on Disney Plus or go see it at a theater, which would be cheaper. So I'm kind of debating going to see Cruella, but I'm not super passionate about it. But I also kind of like the idea of intentionally waiting and having Space Jam be the first movie I see in the theater again, and have it be like, if they have an IMAX screen, just like, I want to be like, movie! I want to make up for the past year and a half of not being able to see movies, because it's literally one of my favorite things to do. So
I am probably going to go see my first post-pandemic movie either tomorrow or sometime this weekend, because A Quiet Place 2 comes out.
I watched the beginning of A Quiet Place, the first one, and I need to finish watching it so I can get all
so good,
up to
so
speed.
good. Couple little plot holes, but so good.
Did you see the Saturday Night Live sketch they did? Spoofing
I think
The
I
Quiet Place?
did. I don't remember.
No, I didn't.
Exactly, and I'm sure I saw it.
It was, of course, this was while Trump was
John
still
Krasinski
president.
John Krasinski was hosting that one, right?
I can't remember if he was hosting or if it just happened, during another time after that movie came out. But it's like a bunch of, the cast members just being like normal people in that world, and they're like trying to sneak along, but they also have their cell phones with them, and like so they keep seeing tweets of like new things Donald Trump has done. So like they're just like,
and they're trying not to
he
say
did
anything.
what? And then it just keeps happening over and over again. It's really funny.
Oh, that's great. I got to look that up.
Yeah.
All right, so Ethan, anything else you want to say about this song or anything in general?
I'm trying to think about gathering thoughts again.
Did you produce the music yourself?
Did I what?
Did you produce the music yourself?
I wish I could do any of that. I did not.
I'm the same way.
I had it work for hire.
So you just wrote it and you hired a musician and a
Yeah,
singer,
I
right?
wrote and hired. I hired for everything else because I'm not hitting those notes. If I am hitting those notes, I'm not staying on them consistently.
I recently recorded some vocals for a Booble song. I did one attempt at vocals, and Eric said, "Try again." And then I did another attempt at vocals, and then he announced, "Hey, the album's done." And I said, "Oh, so my vocals worked?" And he's like, "No, I replaced you with Garrett."
Which original?
It was Eleanor Rigby. But his logic was that the person singing is kind of a separate character from the other two characters.
Oh,
in
sure,
that bit.
sure. Yeah, that's
so basically, and Devo's one of the other characters. So basically, it's like, I'm still going to be in that song as the character that is being sung about.
Yeah, and I have a spoken part in that song.
Yeah.
Sea Monkey was smart enough not to ask me to sing. So
Yeah. So basically, yeah, me and Devo are doing the spoken parts, in that song, and then Garrett is doing the vocals, because Garrett is, not only a brilliant musician and singer, but he's he knows the Beatles as well as all of the Beatles fanatics do. I've never been a Beatles stan, so to speak. So
I know a decent amount about the Beatles, but I have a feeling he's way ahead of me in Beatles now.
I kind of view my vocals like, have you ever heard of the term in playing billiards, of somebody playing slop? Like they're kind of not really making that great of an effort. It's like they're trying to win and they're playing, but they're not like being all like super precise geometry about it. They're just being like,
Yeah, that's how my notes can end up.
Yeah.
I think it's also a memory thing. For some reason, the exact notes don't stick in my head, and somehow I might remember the song being a somewhat different note-wise than it actually is, which is not great for singing.
There's the other phenomenon when there's a song you love and you always kind of sing along with it, but like, because you're like just by yourself in your car or whatever, you're just kind of going like, like the cover of the Transformers theme from Transformers movie. It's just, something evil's coming over you. So you're just kind of singing that to yourself. And then if I went to sing that, it would be like, something. It's like, oh wait, that note is actually way too high to actually sing. So I have to, so another group covered it and they dropped it down to the lower octave. So it's like, something evil's coming over you. And I'm like, okay, A, that sounds cool. And B, I can actually sing that. But
My vocalist requested having the key dropped a couple of steps for this song.
Oh, cool.
Just because
Okay.
Bruno Mars is so.
Yeah, a lot of those
so
pop
high.
singers sing fairly high. I mean, people don't even realize how high your average pop song is until they try to sing along to it.
But I think too, like, I don't know if I found this website called Singing Carrots where you can, like, I don't know how accurate it is, but you test your vocal range.
Oh, neat.
Ooh, that's neat.
And it's like all these pop singers have ranges from 2 to 5, 2 to 6. You don't know how high 5 is until you
Yeah.
try.
What'd you say that website was called again?
Singing Carrots.
Singing Carrots?
Right.
Okay, I'll have to check that out because I was
I try and do Bee Gees into my mic in that site, and I'm not even hitting out of the force.
I should try it too, just as a goof, see what I can do. Because the problem is I can't do a falsetto
And this is
anymore.
not even,
So
like, what I was doing now was probably a 3. Nobody has to. I got probably careful. I don't want to get like a copyright strike on this.
oh, they won't pick you up for that.
Yeah,
Nope.
it doesn't have the same melody. It doesn't have the same notes. They don't know.
people
Every
would have to
single
know
one of
we-
these Fumpcast episodes has a copyright strike. Don't worry about it.
Eh.
Yeah, I remember playing Karaoke Revolution, and I could do pretty well on that. But yeah, I've been pondering lately the notion of trying to get some vocal lessons. Not so much because I think it'll make me super improve, but more because I just want to find out, in quantifiable terms that I can explain to another
What is wrong?
musician, like what my range is. Like, okay, my lowest is here and my highest is here, so I need the song to, if I'm working on an original song, it's like make sure it's within this range so that I can, sing it well.
That I've been able to kind of test out. I'm fairly comfortable in the high 2s. Then it starts to get shaky in the 3s. And 4 and up is falsetto.
Yeah, which I can't do anymore. Ever since I've started taking, like 15 years ago or so, I started taking a new asthma medicine, and like the instant I started taking that asthma medicine, I stopped being able to do a falsetto. It's so weird. I can do it like after a concert, like if I've been performing for an hour and my voice
Oh, yeah,
is
'cause you're all
really
warmed up.
warmed up, then I can do a falsetto, no problem. But like generally, it's just there. Then nothing comes
Yeah.
out. You just can't do it. So
I found the website, so I'm going to try this after the show's over.
okay.
Yeah.
And Luke, I heartily endorse you getting vocal lessons, not because I think you're a crappy singer or anything, but I think it will help you perform better on stage without shouting, which is something you have a habit of doing.
Oh, I've kind of done that when I have done solo shows or live performances.
Yeah.
The first time I did an attempted hour over in one of those small black box theaters, I didn't get through the full hour, in part because I thought, okay, it's a black box, I don't need a mic.
Yeah. And that's what happens. It tends to happen if you can't hear yourself very well, like in a monitor or something like that.
I didn't have a mic, so I got loud.
Yeah.
And kind of
And-
pretty much blew my voice out within 40 minutes.
Yeah, after about 15 minutes, you start
I
sounding
think I was
terrible.
already tired within 15, and by 40, I just had to stop.
Yep. Although Chozo in the chat says he likes shouting, so
Oh, okay.
just for you, Chozo.
Yeah. Shout.
All right. So anything you'd like to plug?
Yeah, this isn't music, but I just published a book.
Oh wow.
I republished the book I had published about 7 years ago. Added about like 5,000 words, edited a bunch. Actually took care of some things that may have been problematic and fixed it so it wouldn't be
Okay.
such an issue.
What's it called?
It is now called The Shouting Professor. Speaking of shouting, The Shouting Professor.
Nice segue.
Yeah, hadn't even thought of it. And I'm getting an audiobook produced, I think, next month.
Please tell me you're having either Gilbert Gottfried or
Do you have any idea how much? I have no idea how much it would cost to have Gilbert Gottfried produce an audiobook. but
yeah,
it's
him
a lot.
or I'm blanking on his name. Luke, who's the guy from Police Academy?
Michael Winslow?
No, the
Bob
shouting.
Goldthwait.
Bobcat Goldthwait. Yeah.
But Bob Goldthwait actually can't do that voice anymore.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, he can still speak like a normal person just fine. He just, I've heard him say in interviews that he really can't do that whole, that whole bit.
That does sound like it would take a real strain.
Because my first choice for a narrator would be Sam Kinison, but he's not with us anymore, unfortunately.
It's a little hard to...
Well, if you want a discount Gilbert Gottfried, you can go to me, a discount Gilbert Gottfried. Yes.
He would not be a good narrator for this story.
Oh, okay. He was a great narrator for 50 Shades of Grey. Look that up if you haven't seen it.
That sounds interesting. I've never read 50 Shades of Grey. I'm not interested in reading 50 Shades
I haven't either, but just listening to him read passages is just brilliant. All right, so we're going to do some news. You're welcome to stick around, or you're welcome to take off if you have better things to do.
I can stick around for the news.
Okay. Let's do some news.
Attention comedy musicians and comedy music fans. The Logan Awards are taking open nominations for outstanding comedy songs and videos released last year for this year's awards. Did you release a comedy song or music video last year, or have a favorite comedy song or video?
Okay, hang on. People in the chat, could you hear the promo, and more importantly, could you hear the music when it was being played? I think it may just be... I'm hearing the video sound. Okay, so it may just be the OBS. Let me turn this off and turn it back on. And then... So that goes to that. Oh, let's try it again.
Attention comedy musicians and comedy music fans. The Logan Awards are taking open nominations for outstanding comedy songs and videos released last year for this year's awards. Did you release a comedy song or music video last year, or have a favorite comedy song or video that was released last year? Then nominate it for the Logan Awards today. What are the Logan Awards? To put it simply, they're the Comedy Music Awards, presented annually by the Funny Music Project, and are presented in 3 categories: Outstanding Original Comedy Song, Outstanding Parody Song, and Outstanding Comedy Music Video. If you have a comedy song that was released last year that you'd like to nominate for this year's awards, head to LoganAwards.com and click the Nominations tab at the top. There is a minimum and maximum of 5 nominations per person. Hurry! Nominations close this year on May 28th. For more details about Logan himself, the awards, and more, check out LoganAwards.com. Help us commemorate the year's best comedy songs and music videos with a trophy, the way they do with every other form of entertainment. But if you want your favorites to win, you have to nominate them by May 28th. Get your nominations in now at LoganAwards.com, brought to you by TheFump.com.
Time for funny music news. Something.
In the news. News. I mentioned at the beginning of the show that Needle Juice Records had a contest, so I need to give congratulations to Dunkaroo Homestuck, who was the winner of the Needle Juice Records compilation contest. They had a contest because their Discord server recently hit 1,000 users, and I believe this was a random drawing. The prize was every Fump CD, a complete set, and so I shipped those out the other day. We have a new sponsor for Fump Fest, Wackiness on the Rise. Wackiness on the Rise is a weekly 1-hour comedy music podcast hosted by Wacky Ben. Listen as he plays a selection of funny songs from the Wacky Studio of Springfield, Illinois, that even Abe Lincoln himself would find hilarious. New episodes are posted every Friday on madmusic.com and archive.org, and our friendly reminder to the listeners is to not break their funny bones. So thank you very much, Wacky Ben, for the Fump Fest sponsorship and all the support. And speaking of Wackiness on the Rise, this Saturday is the 5th anniversary of the show. So congratulations on 5 years, Ben. Ben will be doing an anniversary show on June 4th. So we look forward to that. As we mentioned, the Logan Awards are now accepting nominations. Nominations end tomorrow, Friday, May 28th. So if you haven't nominated your favorite songs yet, do so soon.
So when you say the 28th, you mean like by the end of the day tomorrow, right?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
I think midnight, and I don't know what time zone, so... And finally, some sad news. Rusty Warren passed away yesterday at the age of either 90 or 91, depending on which article you read. Rusty was best known for Bounce Your Boobies and Knockers Up, which were both huge hits on the Dr. Demento show. No details are available about her death, so we don't know how she passed away or anything. But turns out she was performing like right up through the 90s. She was performing on like gay cruises and stuff like that, so it would have been really cool to see her on a cruise. But again, I don't frequent a lot of gay cruises, but it would have been cool to see her perform anyway.
Well, knowing that, it's like, I hope she died like in a parasailing accident.
Right? All right, anything before tour dates?
Just a minor thing I wanted to mention is one of the D-Tunes cartoons that I was the storyboard revisionist on actually came out this week. So if you go to YouTube and look for D-Tunes, the letter D and then Toons, they have a series of cartoons with Conroy Cat called What You Got, which is WHAT and then CHU and then got. And in each of those, he's messing around with some other item from pop culture that people have suggested. And this one, the suggestion was a launch star from Super Mario Galaxy. So I was the storyboard revisionist on that, and it finally came out, so everyone to see that. And after you've seen that, if you want, you can go to my portfolio page at www.luke.ski, and you can see the animatic that I turned in to see the work I did. There was a couple of points in that where I actually got to add a whole bunch of awesome visual freeze-frame jokes. And then there's another one coming up in the near future, but that probably won't be for another month or so. So whenever that happens, I'll plug that. Other than that, I don't have anything else I can think of to plug. So yeah, that's it.
All right. Usual tour dates on Sundays on YouTube, Escape from the Secret Lab featuring Dr. Pinkerton. On Thursdays online, Steve Goody. And on Fridays online, Carla Ulbrich. And I should mention that Psycho Stick has resumed their weekly concert series on Thursdays as well. They are on Twitch. Actually, I believe they rebroadcast to Facebook and YouTube as well. All right, second song of the week. If You Believe in Playing Chess by Knuckleheads. They were supposed to be on this evening, but Grandmaster Jax is under the weather. As I mentioned, you reopen schools and people get sick. So here is If You Believe in Playing Chess by Knuckleheads.
What time is it? It's chess time! Yeah, boy! If you believe in playing chess, say oh yeah! If you believe in playing chess, say oh yeah! You got castles, yeah! You got bishops, yeah! You got horses, yeah! To play 'em.
Gonna play a game, never be the best. It's a game of wits, and the game is chess. Sit your booty right in the chair. Gonna make you say how you do that there. First I move upon, then you move upon, then I move upon, then you move upon, then I move upon, then you move upon, and this game is long.
Dad, can you please play something else?
Put the Pokemon cards back on the shelf. This right here makes you think.
Dad, this game right here stinks.
If you believe in playing chess, say oh yeah! If you believe in playing chess, say oh yeah! You got castles, yeah! You got bishops, yeah! You got horses, yeah! To play 'em.
Can we put this game away and go watch TV or something? I'm bored.
Yeah, I don't know what RZA was talking about for all these years. This game stinks. Where'd everybody go?
So from what I heard, Stevie D watched The Queen's Gambit on Netflix and then decided to try playing chess with his son Jax, and this song came out of that experience. And the thing I find amusing about this is a parody of a Two Live Crew song, and he got his 8-year-old son.
I just listened to it and thought it was a fun song.
Yeah, it's a parody of a song called "If You Believe in Having Sex" by the Two Live Crew. And he's like, yeah, let's parody a Two Live Crew song and put my 8-year-old son on it. Sure.
I was wondering how old Jax is.
Yeah, I think he just turned 9 recently, actually. So that makes all the difference in the world. So yeah, it's fine to have a 9-year-old on the song.
Yeah.
All right. Before we move on to the next thing, I want to check something on the site real quick because
I don't think that he's sick. I think he's in Jump City protecting it from villains and or eating waffles because he's a Teen Titan.
Is entirely possible.
He's also supposed to be on They were supposed to be on my last show too, and they missed it then too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so it's like they're running away from me for some reason.
Yeah, maybe. Nah, I doubt it. All right, let's do some feedback.
Making the internet absolutely ridiculous. Dementia Radio.
www.dementiaradio.org. Port 8027.
Please hang up and try again.
This is the part where there's feedback.
Feedback.
Feedback, you know that segment of the show we do about now?
Feedback. Feedback.
Feedback.
And there's no feedback this week. I should make a no feedback bumper, like wah wah or something like that.
Yeah, that's kind of how I felt about the no comments on the Pump song this time around.
I don't feel bad. No, not a lot of people visit websites anymore. Everyone's on
I
Facebook.
saw like there were no comments for I think the previous one either, and
Yeah.
like, 1, 2.
All right,
You basically have to specifically ask people
Yeah.
to go leave comments there to get them to leave comments there.
Let's do some teasing.
Teasing. He's a teasing kind of guy. Now you have a job.
Yeah.
Teasing. This we can do. Tomorrow's song is by Steve Goody. And Tuesday's song is by Power Salad. And next week's Spotify playlist topic is monsters. And that's it for this week. So, Ethan, plug yourself one more time.
Yeah, I've got a Shouting Professor out on Amazon, and hopefully I'm going to submit something else to the Pump at some point.
Great.
I'm just unsure. One thing I want to clear up, like if I have the video out, but it's got like a few hundred views, doesn't even have none of them. If it's got like a couple dozen views, it doesn't count as being out before, right?
Yeah, that's fine. We generally try to use like a 3-month window. So like if it's been out in the past 3 months, that's generally okay. But we don't want something from like 8 years ago that's already made the rounds and.
Well, none of
have
it's
already
made the
heard.
rounds anyway. But yeah, no marketing, and there are no rounds being made.
Yeah. And Knuckleheads are at knuckleheads.bandcamp.com. That's Knuckleheads with a Z. So check them out. All right, let's get out of here. Go ahead, Luke.
I was going to say, can we do a brief what has Luke been up to since last
Oh,
week?
sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Am I able to share my screen for the vidya?
You should be able to, unless I
All right.
need to do something to... you
Yeah,
know what? I'll make you the
enable it.
host.
Oh, okay.
I'll make you the host. That way you can...
I'm the host now.
You are the host now.
You're the next contestant on The Price is Right. All right, so I'm sharing this particular screen. Okay, so these are my characters named Deanna and Darius, and over the past week, I finally finished up the 3-page pitch I was making for the Cartoon Network Cartoons Shorts program. So the 4 on the right are things, images I pulled from the recent animatic I made, and I just colored them in because I thought I really liked the way a lot of those drawings turned out. And then I made that one on the left as a individual new drawing to try to show off, these characters' personalities for the front page of it. So since we're at the end of the show, I'm not going to go into like great detail on it, but basically I had to put together a 3-page pitch where, page 1 is kind of a brief summary of the characters and the ideas and some of the parameters of the show. Of the short, excuse me. The second page is like, talk about your 2 main characters or however many main characters you have. And then the third page is a full synopsis of the plot of the short you're pitching. Because basically we're trying to pitch a short that works by itself that anyone who doesn't know anything about your thing could just watch and find entertaining. But, the other kind of side notion of this program is that the last couple times they did it, they have gotten a lot of their a lot of epic programs came out of those things like Powerpuff Girls and Cow and Chicken and Johnny Bravo and Dexter's Laboratory and stuff. So, it's like everybody is going into this trying to pitch a good short, but also with the idea of if this becomes successful and they say let's consider developing this into a series, what do you want to do with it? And I've been thinking about. I got the idea like 20 months ago. I've been thinking about it this whole time, and I've been doing a lot of stuff as I've reported on here every week. So anyway, I'm not going to go into any more detail than that because we're out of time, and because I want to keep some stuff a secret because comedy works when people are surprised by things. So
it looks great.
Yeah, and one other super brief story today was I'm wearing this T-shirt, my Dr. Demento T-shirt today, and I did a delivery to somebody, and he was wearing a Delicious Vinyl T-shirt.
Ooh.
So, and I didn't even notice at first, and I'm like, doing the transaction, he's like, hey, cool shirt, and then I looked up and I saw his, and I'm like, hey, your shirt's cool too, yeah, and then, and I said to him, just to kind of, do the thing I do, I was like, he's still on the air doing a show, and he's like, yeah, doesn't it have some kind of a paywall? And I'm like, yeah, there is, because he has to pay the artist. He's like, yeah, the royalties. I'm like, yeah, blah, blah, blah. And, I'm about to finish the transaction. That's when he says, yeah, well, I'll have to look around to see if there's, some place where I can download them for free because, I don't want to pay for stuff. And at that point, I just wish I could have been like, I'm sorry, you don't get to have these items you paid for. Good day. And just walk off and just be like, it's like you literally just told a dude wearing a Dr. D T-shirt that you are intentionally going to not pay for the show. It's like, but later on in the day, somebody else noticed it, and I talked to him, and he was like really cool with it. I told him about First Century Dementia and about Covered in Punk and stuff, and we got better.
Nice.
Anyway, I'll shut up now so we can have a show be over now.
So, show over now. Thank you for listening to the Funny Music Podcast. I'm Devo Spies.
I'm Luke Ski.
And there's Ethan.
And I'm Ethan Moyer.
And you'll have to cue me when the thing...
Thank you for listening to the Funny Music Podcast. You can listen live every Thursday night at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 Pacific at DementiaRadio.org and join us in the chat. Or subscribe to the podcast feed. Look us up on iTunes and be sure to leave us a review. Feedback for the show can be sent to info@thefump.com. The Funny Music Podcast is a production of Fidem Interactive, LLC, released under a Creative Commons share-alike license. Tell your friends, tell your enemies, shout it to random people on the street, and be sure to visit thefump.com for the latest funny songs. Tune in next week where you'll hear Luke Ski say,
Holy fuck is this wrong? But holy hell, is it erotic?